What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Warehouse Series. I appreciate everybody for being here. So anytime I come across anything that's going to help with the cross and T method, and I'm actually going to add an I know, guys, but I'm trying to keep this as simplistic as possible because someone messaged me saying, I'm doing what you're saying, pointing cases towards the middle of that pallet, and it's not working out for me. And then when I started talking to them about what product they were doing it with, it was base items. So there are opportunities to do it and not to do it. And we're going to go over those examples today. If you did not see the part 2 and part 3 of that cross and T video, they're going to be in the description below. Guys, they are a must watch for my channel because it is, I'm going to tell you why, because I've had so many people on those videos tell me that that was a game changer for them. All right. It's a complete game changer whenever you follow the basics. So I'm going to go over those today. I'm going to show you when to use it and when not to use it. All right, guys, in this example right here, so I tell you, cases pointing towards this focal point and this focal point. That middle part of that pallet is our best friend. The more cases we got pointing towards her, the better. And guys, when you have all these cases pointing towards the middle of the pallet, it is still a form of tying in because we are staggering. Now, right here, we might have some columns going on, but we're still, you get staggered. Even this corner right here is tying in. Guys, opportunity to show you. I'm going to show you. We got a high Lysol. We got a low trash bag. All right, we got a high and a low. What do we want to do? We want to swap a high, low, and around, and we're going to get level again. And that is also a form of tying in that corner because we're locking it in because cases are hanging in the gap, over the gap, and that takes weight away from just being stacked straight up and down. These two cases right here, even though they're smaller cases, I still like to follow the line like this cascade. I will actually run cases along the line because I want the middle of this pallet to be skinny. I don't want it to make it fatter by turning these cases this way because if I put long cases, like if you took this cascade and turned it this way, well, then we're leaving ourselves with the small perimeter of the pallet. We want those big, nice, strong cases pointing towards the middle. So what I want to say is, guys, is this is a perfect opportunity to start utilizing that cross and T method because we have a lot of different items that is not going to give us a solid base. And that is when this is really going to come into play. And this is perfectly done. I snapped this picture in the warehouse. I don't know if this person, and the tags are hanging off. So it was a pickup order. And it was just a beautiful demonstration of what I'm talking about with the cross and T. When you have smaller cases like this is how you want to do it. All right, guys, so this person was driving by in the warehouse. I stopped them. I said, can I get a quick picture? Because this is another utilization of that just starting off the cross and T method. Now, we got a nice solid cases here. We're pretty level, so we're not really referring to that cross and T method and the I, but we started it right here with this little thing. We're still keeping that concept of cases pointing in with the skinnier cases in the middle. This is the perfect place to put that apples or the Mott's apple juice. Now remember, guys, just because you're sticking in the middle, it needs to be level, all right? Because if this case is on a slant, you're going to give yourself a headache for the rest of the build. You got to keep those cases level. Now these cans here, I tell you, I love putting them on the corner of my pallet facing in. This is one opportunity that I also utilize as well because it's giving us that solid corner and it's taking away from the middle. So when we have a big, wide middle, usually we want to try to close that up. And I told you the way you do that is taking a longer case and sticking it so it's just starting to hang over. So that's my focus. I want longer cases to start making this big middle smaller. The smaller you have that middle, that means that the perimeter of our pallet is stronger. If you have a big, wide middle, you're going to have a small perimeter of your pallet and it's going to make a weak pallet. I don't like the brass on their sides. I'm always going to point that out. I told them they've been selected for a while, 10 years. I'm not, me personally, guys, I always pointed out that I disagree with liquids being on its side and not upright, but just a perfect opportunity for you to see a nice solid base. And this is the way I would do it 100%, except for the brass. All right, guys, so the next two pictures are the same order, and actually, no, they're not. They're two different orders, but they are very similar, and they're both my orders. I pulled off of previous videos because it's just a great opportunity to show you that and what I wanted to also say was on that previous video, I forgot to say that. What do I say, guys? Strong back. This is the back of his pallet right here. We want that strong back, and that letter I is going to be formed there. So let's say we just start getting into the smaller cases. We're going to start keeping those smaller cases right there. As long as we keep getting bigger cases to fill this in, we're going to stick with the I. When we start getting into more smaller cases, we go to the T. And when we get to a lot of cases, we're going to go to the cross when we get a lot of smaller cases, keeping the bigger of the cases on the corners. So back to this one, this is mine, okay? So same concept, guys. I like to run cases along the line. You don't see this Prego going across the line. It's running along the line, and I'm keeping those big cases facing in. So look at this, guys. Even though I got majority of cases facing towards this middle line, they're tied in because I'm staggering them. So it's a great opportunity to show you this. And even though I got smaller cases, I'm still forming that wall in the back. So it starts with an I, goes to an upside down T, and goes to the full cross as you get more small cases throughout your order. All right, guys, another one of my pictures, another great example here. Big case is just pointing in. All right, so I don't want to take a big pasta like this and write it in the middle, because remember, we want that nice slender middle. When you have that nice slender middle, the perimeter of your palette is stronger. I'm going to keep repeating myself, guys. And here we go right here. And honestly, this line could have stopped right here. So you're still seeing an I, all right? We're not going for the full way back, or we're not doing a T, because we don't have a lot of small cases right here. I will, in the future, in the next style, have smaller cases. So for right now, I'm just focusing on pointing cases towards that middle line. And guys, if you only get like one of these are like the Capri Suns. I forget what they're called. But I always like to stick them on the inside and not my corner, because they're a little softer of a case. So I like to have the box on the corner and have this on the inside. All right, so now I'm going to show you some orders where, you know, guys, you might only utilize 5% of that method depending on what the order is. So this one right here, we only utilized it right here. All right, so we even though we had a lot of bigger cases and a quantity up above, we still kept that same concept that we want to keep that slender middle, and we want bigger cases facing towards the middle. So just a great opportunity to show you that you might only use 5% of it on an order, but you still want to have that mindset whenever you're stacking an order. All right, another great example of a dry goods palette that, you know, we kept the same concept here, guys. All right, see how our nice small middle, even though everything's like tying in a little bit, we still keeping all the small cases in the middle. Del Monte cups are upside down, keep them upright. This is fine, guys, but see how we're keeping, it's just the majority of our cases were bigger up until we got to the salad dressings, but we got bigger cases and we kept a slender middle, and that's even turning a couple cases on their sides to make sure we keep that slender middle. But I promise you, you keep that slender middle and your big cases on the outside, you're gonna have that nice strong palette. All right, guys, so we've seen examples of when you really want to utilize that cross and T. So the first ones that I showed you guys they were all lower palettes. All right, so when it's lower, you start the I and then you go up from there. These you do not use at all. So these are basically, this down here is what that person was talking about. And I just want you to know that this is when you do not use it, because we got all of these cases that are lining up or maybe a hair off. So we're keeping the higher cans on the outside, lower on the inside, and we're just going to form that nice base. But look at all these bases. There is no need for the cross and T when we're getting all the same product. We got a 7 block going here. We got like 24 waters. So we're going to, 28 waters. So we're going to focus on keeping those together. We're not worried about just pointing cases in. We got a 6 block, it looks like, going down here, and we had 18 of these. So we're just going to keep focusing on that. No need to point cases towards the middle. We're following the block that came off the pallet. And down here, we have a bunch of cases, but it forms a solid base. And we didn't really start our cross and T method until we got to right here. So you don't want to force it if you have an opportunity to make a solid base. It's when you have those mixture of cases that it's going to come into play. All right, guys, so just to recap, when we're low on our palette and we're starting off with a small case base, we're going to start with the I, all right? And then as we work our way up and we start running out of strong cases for the perimeter of our palette, we're going to revert to the upside down T. Remember, your jack is up here, so we're going to revert to the upside down T. All right, and now we're getting into even more smaller cases. All right, this is usually higher up on the palette. We're going to go to the full cross and focus on keeping our solid cases on the corners facing in. So I hope this also helps clarify what I am talking about when I talk about the cross and the T. And unfortunately, I just added the letter I. So remember, guys, we're not always reverting to that cross and T method or the I method. We are starting off with a base, and then as we get more smaller cases, we get a DI. Move up the pallet, we get more smaller cases, we go to the upside down T. And then when we go up even more, we're going to revert to that cross, leaving the bigger of those cases on the corners. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.